Good afternoon, David. This is number 36 of our conversations.
26, right?
26. Did I say 36?
I don't know.
26 of No Art, No Life.
No art, no life. And, well, we had a wonderful conversation for the last couple of hours on so many things. Some of them perhaps not even for the audience because they're so, what would you say, scintillating?
I suppose, in terms of having to report one's adventures that would involve recent events that involve living people.
Well, yes, and I think that's right. That's why but we had a good time analyzing a few people that, are on the borderline of madness. And that is though a big topic. We could begin a little bit with it. No Art, No Life. I'm David Duval, author, pianist, painter, broadcaster, not jack of all trades. I take everything seriously.
True.
And Jack, author, thinker, philosopher, great lover, and of course, pianist and novelist. A man so interesting that I, who consider myself the most interesting person that I've ever known, is just so happy to see him every week because he is interesting. Do you understand, all of you, why you would come to us? No art, no life? Well, if you don't have any art, you really don't have any life. Yes, and I'm going to be a little more vicious than usual.
Okay.
Start drawing today, start painting, start listening to music constantly, and please keep it on a high level. I mean, if we continue on this level of cultural lowness, we are going to totally die. Already the career of the concert pianist in jeopardy. I haven't heard a violin recital, or of one, in Louisville, Kentucky, since Vuitton toured America. We're in trouble. The United States is in trouble, and the world is in trouble. Not only do people go on YouTube and they say, "Oh, classical music is now irrelevant," and they even feel it's because it's so elitist. I mean, why would you want to bother with it? You don't bother with art or literature or painting or anything that touches the high arts, such as the great art of dancing, then you are really in trouble, because you may live to 100 years old, and those last years will be very boring. Don't you think so?
I think so, David, and I think, without being indiscreet in terms of referencing the conversation that we had earlier, in talking about that fine line of failing to live with art in one's life, and also the line that may be crossed when a sudden midlife grasping towards it can indicate at the same time someone who seems imbalanced to us. And that's, to a degree, the substance of what we're talking about, and the cyclic adventures that I've been telling you about, wherein I encounter those who seem around midlife to express such dissatisfaction, though without the discipline, without the basis for beginning, they express a desire to suddenly leap into art, as if they do believe there is no art and no life, but they don't seem to know where to begin, and hence the intensity of that confession seems to appear to me to seem to be someone who is unstable. And
yes, go
so
on,
where do we draw the line for the beginner who is going to begin, and yet not feel that they suddenly have to be, in the midst of life, beginning with the notion that they will necessarily leave a body of work that will allow them to identify themselves as an artist by name? That seems to be the pathology that I encounter. People don't want to introduce art into their life unless they are known suddenly as an artist, though there is no body of work.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
It's an amazing fact. They're all over Instagram, hundreds of self-expression seekers putting this concept of abstraction on canvas or wherever, and thinking that this is art.
That's something you had mentioned a couple weeks back, David. The fault in the expression self-expression. Can you elaborate on that? Because sometimes I'll catch myself using the phrase and now reproaching myself for it because I found your reproach of it very convincing. But
What
can I
was
hear
my
it again?
reproach of it, though?
Well, that art isn't merely for self-expression.
Art is never for merely self-expression. That's just pure bull. I mean, anyone can write a poem and say, that's a poem. Well, it's not a poem. You have to know how to write. You have to have a sense of language. You have to know something about, well, great, if you may want to throw a lot of paint on, think you're Jackson Pollock, who found his voice late in life. He only lived till 46 years old, you know. And yes, so he found his voice, and it was drip paint, and now what is happening is, you know, oh, I can do that too. Can't do what Jackson Pollock did. He had 3/4 of him was a genius, and he has left some extraordinary expressionist paintings, self-expression, but based on the nonsense of drip paint. It's just nonsense. I can do one, you can do one, and because you can do it so easily, you can't write a symphony easily. You have to have unbelievable amounts of training. You have to know orchestration. You have to have a melodic feel. You have to have often, you know, the highest sense of pitch, musical gifts that can be trained.
Well, let me ask you this, David.
That's not self-expression, knowing solfege or all the things you need to know to compose.
Right. Now, do we genuinely call it drip painting?
Yeah,
word?
they often people call it drip painting. You know, the Pollock. It was interesting when they photographed him, filmed him doing it. He had bad time afterwards because he was revealing something that you should never, any artist should ever reveal in front of a camera. Even Picasso did it, and you could see he was wavering. Picasso doing his a big line thing in front of a camera. You cannot do this. You can never show the mystery through a camera, which is an absolute idiotic instrument, by the way. They're so inflexible.
Well, I guess my question is, if the drip painting still employs a great degree of technique and also judgment about the outcome that may be subject to chance, do we agree that musical chance writing, or what did they call it, aleatoric music, I believe?
No, but that's over with forever.
Right. That doesn't seem to stand on the same plane as the control that can be executed with the chance elements of drip painting. So,
well, there's no real control. He had his big thing on the floor, and he had certain techniques and knowledge of a certain paint that worked, and like I love spray paint, you know, and so forth. I don't think most people can use spray paint because their hand is not of a pianist's hand. You have to know how to hold it, or you're going to have a floor filled with paint you can never get off.
So do we imagine that that part of his consciousness that is genius is judging the best results of chance?
Very good. Very good. He knows that very well. That's a very deep aesthetic concept. Say that again for our audience.
Well, you were saying that there really can be no degree of absolute technique in the drip painting.
Never.
What there can be is the person who can stand aside and assess the best results of chance.
Pollock could do that.
All right.
And did that extraordinarily well. Unfortunately, he had millions of disciples thinking that everyone can do that. And the fact is everyone can drip paint.
Yes.
And there will be some very happy accidents for the eye. Does not mean that the comprehensiveness of a painting is there, only that the paint has given you a surface sensuality that you like.
Okay.
It's very pretty, it's very this, it's very, you know, and everyone has a different view of it. I love abstractions, and there's no doubt to do a good one is just as, almost as difficult as doing The Last Supper. Now, The Last Supper is a work of such optical genius that, I mean, you'd have to be Leonardo, and nobody could ever. There had been millions of Last Suppers from before Leonardo and then after him, but none of them have any idea of the genius that this man put to the fresco on the wall.
I'm almost embarrassed to ask this question. In that case, could there possibly be an element of chance that also is assessed later as valuable in the execution?
Definitely. Oh, yes. Yes, but you have to be so sophisticated of your own work and your own hand and your own movement, as Leonardo was in every drawing. I mean, he could do a leaf, you know, that he was studying the biology of, and you know, it's great art before it is a leaf. Who cares about the leaf? So we can really see the leaf outside anytime we want, but Leonardo's drawing is of high art. So making art is something very, very peculiar to the human being. No animal can do it. No animal can ever create a great art, except our closest cousin, chimpanzee number 3, let's say, give him a title, you know, can do an abstract painting that can be very good. Now, that doesn't mean it really is good as art, but you're going to, because you don't know enough, think that that's, wow, look at that monkey did that.
Now, again, I'm only asking this for thoroughness. If by chance he creates a drip painting that, again, purely by chance, would seem to rival something that was created by chance and then judged of value by a man of genius, do we then assess genius by its ability to assess? Because I'm also thinking about the problem of artificial intelligence. If we can ask a computer to create an infinite amount of replications within a moment of drip paintings, the computer is still not only executing based upon mere computation, but it has no judgment. It would simply, even if it presumed to give a judgment, it would be an imitation of predetermined judgments that only human beings can make.
I do not want to ever have anything in the world to do actually with artificial intelligence. The word is a disaster.
It is.
I do not want to have anyone involved with it, or having their letters or their essays worked on it, or making money from, you know, writing fake letters for college admittances and anything. The fact is, artificial intelligence has no meaning to humanity.
Yes.
There's the main issue.
And it only slows down the process of knowing our fellow human being, as I told you of my experience last week in discovering that correspondence that I was receiving was likely being filtered through a language tool.
Yes, and it was. We talked about it because it was certainly, you know, exactly that.
Yes.
You know from the person's ability to speak that there was no possibility
Yes.
that this could come to you that way.
Right.
By the way, it will deceive you in every aspect of your life when you're least knowing it, because it is artificial, and it will come up with a name or some embarrassment or something. It's a huge world accident ready to happen.
Yes.
Just as the atomic bomb is. An accident, it will be an accident ready to happen, and why would I care? I really mean it. Art and life have no meaning for a real artist or a thinker or a reader. I'm not telling you that you have to be a great executant artist on the piano or violin. I'm not telling you that you have to do a good abstraction. I'm not telling you it could be a very nice thing. I do not care for art as therapy. I don't want to say, okay, you'll feel better in the morning if you do a drawing, but you will, even if it's a bad one.
Okay.
You will. The unconscious motivations are always being there, and you don't have any outlets in this mechanicalized society. But with artificial intelligence, you are a goner. And I really hope it does not impact my life in all ways or any way. And it already has.
Mhm.
I was saying a year ago, well, you know, we're not going to have to worry about it for about 10 years. You remember? I was,
Yes.
no. It's on every commercial on television already. It's all through this ugly iPhone. This you know what it does for a pianist holding an iPhone and holding it up all the time, let's say? It kills your wrists.
It does.
You are absolutely being destroyed if you are an artist. You can't use your wrist anymore because I don't understand how these companies haven't been sued by the many people that have had tremendous tendonitis in the wrists.
Well, because I think they would rather never forego the drug of this posture than get the $10 million from the suit. But let me ask this other question, because I'm fascinated by the line of thinking that you put us down today with the idea of assessing chance is the distinguishing factor of the artist of genius, even if chance can be executed by
God,
nature.
Miro comes to mind. I mean, God Almighty.
For example, the very first recording I ever heard of the first Mephisto Waltz is the Horowitz, I believe, the 1979
Yeah.
RCA one with the beautiful red cover with him in silhouette.
Yeah.
And it hybridizes a little bit of, as you well know, the Busoni interpolations and his
Yes,
own.
and his own.
But right before one gets to the beautiful languorous melody in the center of the piece, there are some wonderful clinkers because it's a live recording. And I remember you asking him about those and that he had said he'd left them. Do you think also for the art of recreational art and the executant that also that choice was made to show the power of assessment of chance, that there was something in that he felt was of value and that he could show his genius to say this is beautiful, though to a degree it was created outside of my hand?
How do you mean outside of your hand? You mean because of the clinker?
Right,
Because of the-
because I mean, who could be a greater digital executant than Horowitz? But I remember, and it's one of the passages he takes from the Busoni edition of the Mephisto Waltz. And he goes to the low A's in the Mephisto Waltz, where that's not in the original of the list. And I think Horowitz relished it because he can make that tremendous growl all the way on the lowest most part of the piano. But there are one or two moments where he misses, and there's a tremendous sound. And yet, anytime I hear the piece now, and I hear it well executed and cleanly executed, I miss, in essence, those paint drippings.
From other people, you mean?
Well, I missed the wrong note. That his wrong note was so beautiful there. So, to me, as an adolescent, it was so striking in the timbre of the growl that comes out. It almost literally makes a devil seem to be simmering below our feet. That I missed that wrong note. To the degree that, as in my own childish attempts to play the piece, I imagined that, gosh, I would maybe even like to affect the other man's wrong note in playing it.
Why not?
Oh, yes, right.
Why not? You
Yeah.
know, Horowitz changed so many things that you wouldn't even believe.
Yes.
Most people have no ears or connoisseurship in the listening of a great work. I mean, only you knew that it would be the Busoni stuff. You know. By the way, the Busoni rendition transcription is greater than Liszt's actual Mephisto Waltz. It is based also on the orchestral writing of the Mephisto Waltz.
So that then, because I don't know the answer to this, did Liszt write the orchestral version and then transcribe his piano version? Or is the orchestral version an orchestral realization of his piano piece? Because they're distinct in their textures.
You know, I've asked myself that too, and although I've read different accounts, that the first Mephisto Waltz, which is subtitled Dance in the Village Inn,
Yes.
is, let me see, first. The orchestral was first. I don't think it was. I think the work was written and dedicated to Tausig, a young pianist that was his greatest student, and he once again wanted to show Tausig, which he did, how to make the piano sound harder than the music is, because it's a difficult piece, naturally, great virtuoso piece. but the Busoni is 10 times as difficult because
Yeah.
he has taken the orchestral
Mhm.
ligaments and put them into pianistic form on the highest level of pianistic thinking.
So do you think Busoni's rendering is his testament to the quality of the orchestra piece, or a deferential presumption to improve on the Liszt piano version?
I think he was not trying to improve.
Okay.
I think he was fascinated with the fact that Liszt himself was always changing things and combining and thinking things out or doing another version, and that he wanted himself to be able to feel very good about what he was doing. You know, Liszt did it all the time. Any musician that has any talent really never takes a score of two and thinks of them as anything but, you know, one that was supposed to be one but couldn't be because, let's say, that was my way of wanting to write for the piano at that time. During the early 1850s, Liszt was trying to simplify his piano technique for people to be able, not because of a commercial thing, but because he was making it easier to play some of these incredibly difficult works. Why should you have to kill yourself over certain things that could be far more malleable? And Busoni saw that he could make it malleable and take many wonderful moments from the Mephisto Waltz No. 1. Liszt also loved doing this himself, and he changes a great deal in the dedicated in this case to Saint-Saëns, the second Mephisto Waltz, which is one of the greatest works in the piano literature and unknown.
Agreed, yes.
It's fantastic. And there's a piano version, and there's the orchestral version, and no, the piano version is absolutely startlingly better.
Okay.
Liszt's orchestration is extraordinarily interesting, but can be flat sounding compared to his piano writing at times.
I've heard that said, that people have said that as well.
I didn't know. I thought that it was only my thought.
It may be in the quality, in the way that you will now tell us more about it. But do you think that's because he thought in terms of the range or the register of the piano, in terms of where he places melodies when we're hearing orchestral pieces? He seems to orchestrate not, how do I put it? It's as if when he's orchestrating, he's not orchestrating according to the power of the instruments, but as if he is trying to orchestrate the power of the piano onto the orchestra.
I think he is.
Okay.
I think he is. Remember, he says the piano was a latent orchestra.
Yes, so he's, in a sense, arguing that the more powerful palette is actually the black and white palette from the piano moving to the orchestra rather than the other way around.
Absolutely, it is. It really is. If you really compare the amazing orchestration, what was Berlioz? He couldn't play the piano, so he started to figure out how to make these instruments sound as well as possible, and he did. But take a look at Liszt's version of the Symphonie Fantastique. It's a greater thinker instrumentally than a very, very still simplistic Berlioz, even though he's the father of the orchestra. The Symphonie Fantastique was once played. The Sabbath movement was played by the Paris Conservatory Orchestra, and they applauded marvelously. Remember, this is new music in 1832-33, and then Liszt came out and played it himself in his own transcription of that Symphonie Fantastique, and the audience went wild. Well, the fact is the Sabbath movement is better in Liszt's piano version than the fakery of orchestration. You can call orchestration fakery in a certain way. I'm not interested in orchestration. I love to hear, you really think that Ravel's Pictures in an Exhibition can compare with Horowitz's fiddlings or Richter's performance of the pure piano version? No. I tell you the truth, the piano again for me comes out first so many times I can't believe it when I think about it deeply. How does this happen? that the piano is so incredible. It's far more incredible
Yeah.
than the orchestra.
Mhm.
For you could take any orchestra work and put it onto the piano, unless it was,
Mhm.
you know, a modern mess of some type of, you know.
Mhm. Now, I hope, David, for our audience, this doesn't seem too esoteric a point to make.
It is esoteric.
Well,
and
no, I didn't mean your point. It's something
Oh.
I was going to add. Well, I was going to
Oh,
ask
sorry.
you this, not at all. I was going to ask you about the issue of notation, wherein things are left in a score that no matter how many recordings I've heard or how many attempts I've made to render them. Here's my question. In the beginning of the Mephisto Waltz score, I'm sure you remember, Liszt puts Arabic numbers
Yes.
over every respective bar in the beginning
Yes.
to suggest to you that you're not really beginning when you first hear sound on the strong first bar. It's as if you're entering, what's the term in Latin, in medias res? Am I
Mhm.
saying that correctly?
Yeah.
As if like in a serialized adventure, you're leaping in the middle.
Yeah.
I know that only because I've looked at the score, but no matter how many times I've played it or listened to it, when I hear the first note of the Mephisto Waltz, I feel like I'm on the downbeat
Mhm.
of the beginning of a first measure.
Mhm.
Does that happen for you as well? Or are you able, because a certain performer can make you think you're leaping in as if in the middle of something that's already started, but you don't get to hear that? Do you ever hear that effect?
Yes, I
And
hear
who
it.
has done that?
I think that it comes basically from the composer who understands the romance and mystery of the romantic world that he's now living in the 19th century.
Mhm.
This doesn't happen in Haydn or Boccherini, who, by the way, is a much better composer than people have any idea of,
Mm-hmm.
or Mozart. This is a romantic thing, you know, the dance in the village inn. I mean, Liszt is already hearing that gorgeous melody before it ever comes in D flat,
Yes.
you know, when he starts it. And of course, he has a little, you know, well, you know, to me, it would be silly to play it with one hand when you can play the appoggiatura with the third finger of the right hand and make it much more sparkling and stark.
Right, and what I mean is, have you ever heard a performer or a recording in which the notion that Liszt puts in the score, that you're not hearing bar one when you hear the piece begin, but it's as if you are leaping in on something that's already been happening? Have you ever heard a recording that makes that impression on you?
It does, especially of the
Whose?
great Friedman and the Chopin mazurkas. It's incredible.
But I mean in the Mephisto Waltz specifically.
in the Mephisto Waltz specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the Capelle really does something for me that way. Did you ever hear the Capelle performance?
No, but I remember reading in one of your books where you really thought it was very strong.
Oh, it's
Capelle.
a tremendous
Yes.
performance, yes. And technically, at that, the piece is played very wonderfully by Ashkenazi. Ashkenazi was a wonderful pianist of the highest level when he was 21 or 2,
Mhm.
and then continued being,
Yes.
but he became very, very conservative in his sameness of
Mm.
playing.
Now, this same question occurs to me where the notation isn't exotically precise.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take the sonata. The first thing that's notated in the score is a silence, so that no matter how well I know the piece, I can't hear it without hearing that first G as a downbeat. Do you have that problem?
Richter talked about it, and
Mhm.
he did a trick.
Well, and what was that?
The trick was he would get out,
Mm-hmm.
he'd put his hands on the G's,
Yeah.
and he wouldn't play it for a long time.
Uh-huh.
The audience would start twitching.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about it,
Mm.
and then he goes into the piece, and that gives you that feeling, because you see, he also knows what you and I know,
Mm-hmm.
forgetting the aspect of what you're trying to say, but it's so unconvincing each time
Mm.
to open that Liszt sonata. You are always feeling you're doing something wrong. I do.
Yes, that's why I wanted to ask
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
And I thought, well, this is remarkable. I understand his intention that these sudden, very delicate hammer strokes as if on a timpani.
Yeah.
But even if I live with the piece for months or years again, it recedes back into my mind when I hear it again as if they are downbeats. As if I can't imagine something beginning at the beginning of creation unless it's at the beginning or zero moment of creation. But Liszt is intimating that, in a way, after a moment of creation, there's a hush in which we draw breath before we see the first animal.
Well, he's doing that, of course. He's doing that, and I think he does that in a lot of music.
And now, does the plastic arts, or do the plastic arts, ever have a moment, and I'm sure there are millions, but it's a different thing because they're not time oriented, but of course the eye is asked to look at it through time. Could we have a comparable motion like that, where there's an implication that the work is wider than the rendering, or that it's been in action before we see it?
I don't know how to answer it. I just
Okay.
don't.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many personalized complexities in a creation as compared to trying to find something enigmatic or mysterious or before it has started to happen in music because of the time and the space element
Mm-hmm.
itself. I'll give you like something that I was doing an abstraction
Yes.
here
Mm-hmm.
on board
Mm-hmm.
in October.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was very complete.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized, I don't know how we're going to really see it.
Okay.
Maybe it works.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. I really love it. Maybe if you want to buy it, you can. I would love to have the money. It's 16 by 20. And it's in different media, mixed media. Now, I am going out of my mind with this. Usually it doesn't happen. I complete it, it's done or whatever. There's always maybe some little thing. But
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't feel it finished. And coming from somewhere in my nervous system were ghost-like, because ghost-like is a little like what you're talking about.
Okay.
Where's this like space coming from on that rest? That rest is incredible. That rest begins the piece. Richter makes it for
Mm-hmm.
20 seconds or something.
Mm-hmm.
Now all of a sudden I know, where is my damn white chalk? I need to put these lines in there because there was some sort of ghost-like feeling and it could only be white chalk.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
All sounds like bullshit, but it isn't.
No.
And
Mhm.
here it comes, you see. And all of these lines are exactly as I wanted them because I know that, just like we were talking about the Pollock, Pollock knew how to make the drip count.
Mhm.
That's oh my God, what an ad man I could be.
Mhm.
Make the drip count. And
Now-
now I like it.
See,
Now I see it as it's over with.
Now, is that because, if the old phrase that a painting is never finished, that it's just abandoned at a certain point, do you feel it's over with because your mentality, which is ever in flux, eventually just has to stop lest something become overworked?
There it is. There's your
Mhm.
big thing. There's your big thing, as Whistler said. There has to be two people painting a picture.
Mm.
The artist doing it, and the man next to you with a revolver, ready to kill you
If you go too far.
if you go too far and
Okay.
overwork it.
Okay.
You can overwork a performance so much. You could have too much technique actually for certain passages in the late Beethoven sonata. It's too much.
What would be an
it's
example?
too glistening. It's a.
Are there some examples of spring?
Well,
in mind?
everyone almost trying to do certain things in late Beethoven that are not necessary. They don't need that kind of polish. They're better off without it. This terrible thing that the instrumentalist, especially the pianist, has gotten himself into is this wrong note thing. Of course, Horowitz wanted to be human. He said it. You have to have some wrong. Put him in it if you wanted him.
Well, that's what I meant about that 1979 Mephisto Waltz.
Yeah.
I almost had the feeling that it was a man who was so powerful that he almost wanted to walk among his people, so to speak, as the king, and say, I will have to disguise myself to a degree to make Mephisto live, because Mephisto would also disguise himself to be among the people. I really adored those wrong notes in that particular recording.
What's wrong with any
They're
time?
beautiful.
Capel used to have. He was one of the first of the great modernists that used recording to make certain that there were no wrong notes anywhere, because he always condemned himself for the clinkers. Every pianist starts out with the idea that they want to play a note perfect work. Well, really, why? You never do. There's always a scratch. It's impossible.
Right.
What Capel in his diary starts talking about, he every time he plays the 11th Rhapsody, he just doesn't hit the last chord right.
Oh, now Capel's diaries, are they published?
Yes, by the musical Piano Quarterly that's out of business.
Oh, how did you find that as a book?
Because I was a
Or I mean, of what quality did you find it? Did you think it was a good?
Oh, absolutely, wonderfully worth. I mean, he talks. This piano is no good. The most even player is my friend Jose Iturbi. He goes very, very far. He's fanatical. He practices on tour, just the recital program that he's working on for the audience that night. He could be playing it 5 hours before. He never stops working. He's insane. He has the cigarette hanging on him, and he has pains everywhere in his hands. He doesn't understand. He's only 31 years old, and he's going to, by 41, he's going to be crippled.
Self-induced from the process of
From
the
the
practice?
oh, sure. And he, self-induced from the fact that he wanted these perfect performances. Every pianist has to have that part of them in their soul, because you don't want to play sloppily, because you really start hearing it quickly. But 1, 2, 5, 7 wrong notes. Like I once heard John Browning, a friend of mine who was one of the great American pianists. Probably will be forgotten next year totally, unless I put him on my radio show. And John played the Barber Concertos premiere, and he was playing it with Slatkin. And I know that he had what I call the killer instinct of the virtuoso. Well, every note has to be there. He would, you could see them going down perfectly at all times. There was no, he worked so hard and well. And so he said, I said, listening to him, I wanted to make a joke. So I go out backstage and I say, did I tell you this?
No, I don't know this story.
And I say to him, hi John, oh, great performance, my God, there were 6 wrong notes, And he said, there were 3!
Oh.
Screaming.
Yeah.
I mean, he knew exactly what it,
Yeah.
They were all blemishes to him.
Yes.
And that is what they usually are. But Horowitz, a much greater artist than all of these people we're talking about. He's not a pianist, he's an artist of the highest quality who plays the piano. If I give you a canvas and you say I'm a painter, well, he's a great artist at the piano. He's not a piano player. Many people could play faster octaves than him. He didn't care about that even. That was part of his nervous system. First time I ever met him, backstage at the Met, I said, Maestro, what a nervous system you have. I am a nervous system?
Yes, that's in Evenings with Horowitz.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So good.
Mhm.
So I am a nervous system. I remember he always got up. I think he did get up from the
Mhm.
like a lounge chair.
With a sense of humor in it, or real
Oh,
indignation?
all sense of humor. The
Oh,
man
okay.
was doing a humorous Mephisto Waltz. This is a devil
Uh huh.
that comes out of the aspect of high romance in the moonlight.
Mm-hmm.
Dance in the Village Inn, and Marguerite is 3 times he takes that magnificent post Tristanian theme and layers it out so magnificently on the
Yes.
piano, and then finally, the broken stuff in the
Oh, the repeated notes.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh my
Mhm.
God, this is
Yes.
this list was something.
She was.
Yeah, we've been talking about him all through our series, and I
Mhm.
hope that you're not bored with him. What we're hoping is that you go and you start hearing lists as he should be heard, and you can hear a lot of lists now. He's finally made it.
Mm-hmm.
He's finally ensconced in the great composers of all time.
I'm always astonished in going through the literature about Liszt that there are so many of the works that also exist in 2 piano versions.
Ask anyone, where in the hell did they get the time?
I don't know. That's what I'm always thinking. All of a sudden, there'll be a reference in all of the
They're all
literature
his. They're
about
all
the
his.
master class. I mean, he was orthographically writing all this out somehow. I don't know how he did that.
No computers, baby.
Yeah.
Just plain and simple creative drive.
Mm.
And I think it's important today to, with everyone being either, some machinist or pretending they're artists,
Mm-hmm.
to get to understand that a great artist or great composer, there are only 15 or 20 or 30 in the whole history
Mhm.
of the world.
Mm-hmm.
We just sold a painting, meaning not me, but now we have a painting that just was the highest bid, I think, of all time at this new auction home, whatever it is. It's,
Okay.
what's the famous auction?
One here in New York?
Yeah, so just opened.
A new one. You
Yeah, a
mean.
new one.
A
No,
new
no, not a
auction.
new one, but I mean,
Oh.
a new.
The particular auction itself
Yeah,
from
it's
this
Christie's
auction.
or one of those.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So, I think it was a Klimt. I'm almost sure I read that. A minor painter of great talent.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't paint faces. Now, when I say things like this, the people have never really looked at the faces. They're almost always the same, and they almost always have, the weakest part of the painting. I mean, I would love to, have people understand that you have to look at a painting for days.
Yes.
And you have to know the oeuvre of the whole painter. But anyway, why would a painting of one of his gold leaf bullshits,
Mm-hmm.
marvelously effective, sell for 270 million or something like that a few days ago?
Mm.
Why? There are many painters. I mean, is he Rembrandt? Of course he's not. Is he
Okay.
Leonardo? Is he Dürer? Nothing like that. Tiny little inch of a talent compared to the great
Mhm.
masters. But he is a good minor master.
Mm.
Would we call him a Moshkovsky or a, in the music world? I don't know, Jack.
Mhm.
But I do know that no painting is worth $250 million. It's just a piece of canvas that can burn easily.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why should this man be making someone rich?
Mm.
Or someone that's so rich that they say, I now own this? I have no idea who does.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
Every other week, 10 years ago, a Picasso was going for 70 million or 50 or so. Why? So they asked Picasso, he said, because I write my name Picasso very large.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he wasn't the first great millionaire
Mm-hmm.
or possibly billionaire from painting. I like more the way Miro talks. Paintings are not dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like this idea of the capitalist selling of work in an inflated thing.
Mm.
I would like you to call me, email me, buy a drawing of mine. The new book, the selected drawings of David Duval, we're still working on it.
It's almost done.
It's almost done. Go to Amazon, buy my other one. I absolutely think they're not worth 270 million, but I will accept something that is gracious.
And do we know for sure that it won't be 270 million at one point?
No, it'll never be, and I hope not. Because
Well, why not?
Munch's Howl, one of his worst paintings.
Okay.
It's just when you see it's famous, like a title of a pop song. Would Liebestraum number 3 of Liszt be
Yeah.
anything if it said piano piece number 3 in A flat? No, Liebestraum, Dreams of Love. Titles,
Yes.
extracurricular things. This has nothing to do with art. I don't have to know that Liebestraum is a passionate expulsion of sexuality.
Mm. Well, Dave, that brings me to another question
I will
about
hear it. I will hear it.
about art and its being consigned into commodity.
Oh.
This is a whole other level that I'm going to ask you about, and it circles back to the story we began about in terms of where I felt last week that I was duped into reading language that was being generated in correspondence by a computer. And then, of course, I had a chance to assess this person's speaking in person, and then hence to know that it couldn't match. But here's the thing that I regret. I would never take a person I'm trying to get to know to a concert right away, because I feel, well, of course, you can't speak there, and maybe because it's so sacred to me, I wouldn't want to render that into a commodity by which I am using it as a figurative peacock feather to win the woman. Because it means so much to me.
Right.
However, do we all agree that for some reason, and you've told me many, many times, how much visual work is abused by how quickly people go by? Didn't you even say that there's some dreadful average, like 3 seconds?
Less.
So do you feel that it should be preached more? That people really shouldn't be using, let's say, the Met as a place of social occasion?
Terrible.
Yes, and yet I seduced myself into doing it, thinking that because it's permissible to speak, because you are not blinding the painting by your speaking. But in a way we are, aren't we?
Oh yeah.
So,
You can't talk in front of a painting or have a discussion in front. Say no. Oh, this is a beautifully painted arm.
well, that's what I felt. I at first thought, well, maybe this allows me to know the person better. But it was very much the reverse.
Mhm.
It just becomes a duel of affectations.
Oh, it is. It is. I mean, it's so simple to seduce. I remember I took my class to the Guggenheim for my piano class at Juilliard, to the Guggenheim. We walked through the park and
Mhm.
did that every once in a while. And in this case, there was a bigger crowd of students than usually, because they would all, oh, I can't waste my time looking at a painting, I have to practice.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
This mechanical
Yes.
world is,
Mm-hmm.
you don't practice the piano in a mechanical way if it's good practice.
Mm-hmm.
When you leave the piano, you always know. Capellini diaries again say, oh, really good work today. Oh, I'm too tired to really work well, but I'm pushing myself, or on and on. So I take the class to the Braque exhibit, because I've always been fond of Braque. He's not a Picasso, no, but he's really a wonderful cubist, a wonderful painter, lives a long, wonderful, productive life, and his works are among the important works of the 20th century. And that was a big show, and so I started talking about Braque, and I talked about the paintings and how I felt about this cubist one or this one. By the end of the exhibit, there's a huge crowd around all of the students and myself. Everyone is thinking they're getting a free lecture about Braque. Oh, how wonderful! This man is just my opinion, babies. This is, you can see for yourself. What a phrase that is. See for yourself.
So why do you think in art museums people are so uncertain of their own judgment?
Because they never looked at anything in their lives. They're bombarded by, all these horrible visual things. I mean, we learn through our eyes almost 90% of everything.
Mm-hmm.
I've always said one painting per museum, please. One painting per museum. I don't want to see this. I mean, go to a museum in Brazil, let's say, which I did, and I laughed. One of the great Bellinis I had ever seen, standing hung next to a work by Winston Churchill. I think I saw once in Kansas City a work by Eisenhower. Everyone painted,
Yes. However, because the greater works were so rare in that museum, did that answer to your...
No, the curating is so bad.
But what I meant is, you said one work per museum, as if one should only be, upon making the pilgrimage, really giving their full time to one thing.
Yes, I don't mean that, the museum shouldn't, there's oversaturated. There are so many important works in the basements of, we'll never see them. I mean, if I wanted to go see all the Florentine drawings that are so, I wouldn't get to see them.
I see, okay.
God damn it.
Well, do you really do that when you go to a gallery like the Met?
Only one picture at a time.
One picture at a time?
One or two at the most, yeah.
See, that fascinates me, because I knew and know, especially going through that cycle again, for the abuse of the social, or the abuse of the work for the sake of the social, knew that there's something wrong in the way I'm approaching it, and that is a tremendous... It would be as if one went to a poorly programmed recital that has 10,000 pieces on it. And that would strike me as preposterous.
It is.
And yet that's what I end up doing.
Bad programming is preposterous.
Yes.
All musicians have to be very careful. Their success, and they don't know it. A few pianists in the world call me, much to my chagrin, and I have to program their stuff because they have no idea what goes next to each other. I mean, where's their ear? I always know exactly what piece will sound like with another one. To me, when I see a Winston Churchill next to a Bellini, this is ridiculous.
Well,
I want to fire that curator.
Well, that's remarkable. David, do you think within the canon of the piano literature that there are pieces that were ever composed, and this would have to be later on, as if they are not necessarily motivically or harmonically related to the piece that the composer has in mind, but they're composed as if they could be ideally programmed next to another piece? Do you think there's
You think a composer does that? I never thought of it.
I've never thought of it. That's why I was posing the question to you. As if a composer could be both painter and curator as a composer.
Yeah, no.
All right.
I don't think that goes on much. And
no.
Remember, the technique of music is, it's not like writing a rock and roll song.
Right.
I mean, baby,
Yes.
baby,
Yes.
love you,
Yeah.
always love, baby.
Mm-hmm.
What's the other word they use?
Hey.
Hey, that word. Hey, man.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I invented the word man, and I'm proud of that. Hey, man.
Yes.
But don't say hey. Say hey, man.
Okay.
Don't say hey, girl, because you'll get a slap in the face now.
Maybe.
We're living in bad times, baby.
Well, there's hopefully still hope.
Thoreau, this was a man that said simplify, right?
He did. That's in Walden.
Yeah, it is. And
Yes.
I try all the time. And they call me lazy because I try to simplify.
Simplify in your work?
Oh, I'm joking right now, but I'm not interested even in opening a bill until they come and get me. And they do come.
They do. Mm-hmm.
They come. I can't believe it. Why would this dentist want to charge me for working on my horrible teeth?
Huh.
Ridiculous, isn't that doesn't he have some fun in his craft?
From my
My
experience,
teeth are uniquely horrible.
well, from my experience, they don't seem to have that much fun in their craft.
No, that's why they commit more suicides, the dentists. Than
I've
any
heard
other.
this.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
from more
hope-
than one source.
I hope they all do. I mean, I want. There's a part of me that wants to shut down medical science too.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness! I mean, how many years can these people live in such boredom, monotony? 105. I mean, look at the. No one lives. No one dies at 40 any longer. You know, they're kept
Yes.
alive.
Mhm.
Every artist that is of anyone, they certainly never made 100.
That's interesting. Hmm. Do you think that's because in giving so much care to the right cause, it engenders less longevity, which wouldn't be necessary to achieve the right cause in one's work, so that it's an equation that works out for the best?
Very deep stuff you talk all the time.
Well, I don't know about that.
Very difficult.
But I just mean that would we have a Mozart that was effective at the level that we imagine Mozart's perfection to be all the time at 99?
Of course not.
I don't think so. But I don't know.
I'm wondering why all of a sudden Titian dies at 88 instead of for 400 years it had been 99 of the plague.
Hmm.
Did someone say nobody could live till 99? Where's the new scholarship coming from that tells us? Because I had something corrected recently to 88, talking about Titian,
Okay.
and I loved the fact he lived till 99 and died of the plague while he was still painting.
And do you, in your knowledge of his work, feel that you see a decline in the 99-year-old?
No, never a decline in the great geniuses.
Okay, but then you, in a sense, are saying the opposite. You were saying that you would think Mozart at 99 would not be the Mozart that we know at 30.
No, he would be greater. I'm sorry.
Oh, all right.
He would
Okay.
be greater and greater as he incorporated, as Beethoven did, the counterpoint of the Baroque and Bachian worlds.
All right.
Oh, his music needs counterpoint very much. So does Schubert.
Mm-hmm.
Schubert was not wrong when he, in the last months of his life, he was starting to take counterpoint lessons from the man Brahms was taking counterpoint lessons 40 years later, even in Vienna. Simon Schechter.
I think, isn't it Sector?
Sector.
Yes, uh-huh.
I guess so.
know.
I don't know. I can't.
Well, the only reason I'm not correcting you, I often used to get him confused with the Schenkerian analysis man's name, Schenker.
Oh, please, these
Mhm.
analysis stuff.
Okay.
I can't take them.
But that is stunning. So do we think the generalization is that those who are great in the homophonic conception are always destined to move to the contrapuntal?
Yes, because you need that density.
Mm.
The only greatness Mahler has is that he understands polyphony so well in his orchestrations that everything sounds as if it is the whole world coming at you. Where basically it's very cheap material often.
At the risk of always returning to Liszt, do we feel in his late works that we see signs of that?
Oh my God, the last works open up the door for everyone.
Well, yes, but I mean in terms of the generalization of moving from the homophonic back toward a contrapuntal origin, as if everybody is slated to move back to their species counterpoint
No,
studies.
I only mean that the elements, Beethoven doesn't become a mere contrapuntist. I mean, anyone can be that. They can be taught this, and
Yeah.
they can go out and write fugues their whole life in 1940 or so to speak. One of the great works, certainly not played enough, is the Ludus Tonalis by Hindemith.
Yes.
And no one wants to play Hindemith anymore. They don't know how to place him, you see, any longer. He's a really great composer.
Well, how would you place him?
I can play. There's Schoenberg, there's Stravinsky, there's Berg. There's a lot of great 20th century composers, and Hindemith is one of them.
Mm.
Do they rank with Brahms? No.
Mm-hmm.
Is even one of them as great as Brahms? Of course not. Just as Brahms knew he wasn't as great as Bach or Beethoven.
Mm-hmm.
Not because of any, time lapses, or it just happens to be. Genius does not come along that much, and it did come along on high examples, Hindemith being one of them. If there was ever a craftsman that knew what to do, just look at one piece of the Ludus Tonalis. It must, I don't know enough, but it must be a contrapuntal miracle.
Do you recommend starting with that work for someone starting at the piano, who is already has facility in terms of exploring his piano literature?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I think it'd be great.
More than the sonatas, or
Oh, sure. The sonatas are nice. I mean, I played the second sonata in G major and the big B flat number 3 with a double fugue at the end. Very effective, but not good enough.
okay.
But the Ludus Tonalis is.
I just remember as a staff accompanist when it was part of my obligations in graduate school, finding the accompaniments to the instrumental sonatas of Hindemith, like the flute sonata or the trumpet sonata.
Yeah,
Didn't he
yeah.
write one for almost every respective
Yeah, he
instrument?
was fantastic.
Very hard.
Very hard,
Mhm.
very, still very easy to listen to, but very,
Very hard to execute
Yeah.
and count, I found.
I think so, because everything was so perfect with him.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know why Hindemith died out totally after his death. Totally.
He did.
No revival at all. I think he died around 1960.
Okay.
No revival for Hindemith, and while he was alive, he was considered one of the 5 major composers of the world.
Do we know anything about him as a piano player himself?
No, he wasn't a piano player.
Really? Okay.
He was a violist, I believe. He
Oh,
was in
okay.
the Amir. He went to Turkey. He was a theoretician as well. He loved, writing books that he called elementary. I mean,
Yes.
if that's elementary, I have no chance.
I understand. I flipped through them. They're really advanced.
Impossible. I
Mhm.
think that title is a joke to him.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Mhm.
Who knows? Just like the wrong notes in the Horowitz Mephisto waltz could indeed be. He liked that sound there. You don't
Yes.
understand. He really was an artist. He didn't care. This is the way he would do it. That's why he was the last of the great transcribers for
Mhm.
the big effects. I mean, he knew how to take lists, transcriptions, and make them so easy compared to the Stars and Stripes
Oh.
or any of them. They're magnificent pieces of pianism.
Oh, well, that reminds me of a story that I think it's in Evenings with Horowitz when you're bringing different students to play for him. I believe this is where I read it. And that proves your point, that a student that you brought to him had by oral skill transcribed the Stars and Stripes Forever, but Horowitz then pointed out that what the young fellow had done is actually harder to play than what
And
Horowitz's
Horowitz went
execution.
over and showed
Yes,
him
uh-huh.
what I did was much simpler than what you did.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It was a stunning.
I was wanting to know what that was. Can you remember
No.
what the figuration
No,
was? It like
I'll-
thirds or what?
No, I
Okay.
don't remember.
Okay.
I was, nervous enough for the poor guy
Mhm.
playing for him.
Yes.
And Horowitz never asked him back,
Oh, okay.
But that tells you everything about what knowledge means. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
here's a guy struggling to hear it off of a record. It wasn't published. He couldn't
Yeah.
get it easily then. And Horowitz is saying, no, I think he did it twice even, 2 places.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting.
Mm.
And certainly Horowitz takes the 19th Rhapsody and makes it a better piece. And Liszt's last piece, Alan Walker does not like Horowitz, I think.
Mm.
He likes Egon Petrie,
Mhm.
but he doesn't say anything in his analysis in book 3 of
Mhm.
the biography when he really says, oh, and there is a virtuoso piece in the later works of the 19th Rhapsody, and Liszt is back to his great, panache.
Mm.
It's nothing compared to what Horowitz does with it, and
Mm-hmm.
Horowitz really takes it and makes it into
Mm-hmm.
what it could have been,
Okay.
or what Liszt would have possibly liked, because he was very liberal in, you want to change the race, do it,
Mm-hmm.
told Salati. You want to change it, do it. I mean, why has classical music, that horrible word, become such a bugbear, such an academic thing? Because of the academy.
Okay.
Liszt would say, you don't like the way so go study at the conservatory.
Mm-hmm.
No. One Last time I was at the Met, I'm looking at this huge American painter's work that they had there for some reason. It was beautiful, marvelous. I stayed 2 hours. Never looked at anything but the guard comes over looking at me very suspiciously. What are you doing here?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he had never seen anyone look so.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Pennsylvania landscape by the artist I'd never heard of.
Okay.
But someone at the Met thought it was good, and it sure was.
Mm-hmm.
One, and no more cemeteries, please. We won't talk about that anymore. But no more cemeteries in the world, please.
You mean rendering cemeteries?
No, no more. Where they, I mean, they're unbelievable.
Oh, you mean in
What
terms of
kind
the-
of waste of
The waste of space?
space? I mean, think of the museums or the wonderful land. I don't want to ever see another house built anywhere, ever.
You've mentioned that. Mhm.
I know, and I mean that. When I
Mhm.
mean, my heart goes down, oh my God, and what is it going to look like?
Mm-hmm.
And why should it be there next to those trees?
Mm-hmm.
When Elizabeth Wharton in 1905 says to Henry James, America has no sense of beauty any longer. Well, we're now 130 years away
Yes.
from that.
Yes.
Just as I said about Mencken once, I've seen all the world's most unlovely towns, and they're all in America. I look on television, you see the never-ending slums that we see on TV with the from driving into this place and that, or the horrible dwellings for automobiles.
Oh, yes.
Every single, I don't know what's the appeal of having to drive into a parking lot.
Oh, yes. Well,
Everything on television is ugly except the same pictures of New York that, you know, will lend glamour when the tourist comes.
that abides. And what do you make of that? What is it in the silhouette, at least, of the Manhattan skyline?
Oh, every day, every minute, you know, the story is interrupted either by this horrifying singing of some horrible song for 4 minutes, wasting the time of the writer, and then they're wasted by what were we?
Well, I was asking, what do you make of the fact that, notwithstanding that Mencken felt that all the ugliest towns are here in the United States?
Oh, have you ever seen them?
Boom Cecile Lickett, or one other.
I guess my question really is that why. Well, it's okay, it happens. To the best of us. Technology is catching up.
How do I do it?
We can simply slide to answer. There we go.
Don't you ever buy one of these and enrich those creatures. What are they? Are they creatures that have invented this?
I don't know.
Aliens?
It's certainly taking hold.
Oh, and they scare you too. Oh,
They
it's not
do.
taking hold. It's taking the soul.
Yes,
Please, I'm not just a, what do they call Luddites?
that is the word.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not a Luddite. I mean,
Boom Cecile Lickett, or one other.
Well, perhaps this is a sign that we are being called by the outside world.
this is not,
So, David,
yeah.
so do you think our 26th episode has,
You think we should stop it?
only if we think the outside world has felt we've been able to enjoy our remove from technology a bit too long?
I don't want them to be mad at us, you know,
Well, I don't
because
think they
we're
will.
very modern.
Right, I think they'll see that we're human, that's all.
We're human.
Mm-hmm.
I'm embarrassed because in my piano class there will always be someone that rings.
Yes.
What is this for? To watch what? Pornography? What?
Well,
What is this for? The news? My wrists hurt from it.
well, it's funny, you mentioned Thoreau, and you
Mhm.
mentioned the simplify. I believe that's the way he renders it. 3 times, I think, with a period after
Yeah, 3
each.
times. Yes.
So that even his sentence has been rendered into a semantic simplification. But what is remarkable is it was Thoreau who, at the time of rendering Walden into a finalized book, remarks about the first transatlantic cable and says, though it seems to be a miracle of engineering, it may chance to be that New York and London will have nothing to say to one another. And I think we have to keep that in mind, that we have this tremendous ability to speak to each other all the time, but we really will always be neglecting the infinitude that will come to us in our solitude, that no infinitely, ostensibly masterful computer will ever be able to match. So I think that's what makes them sinister and regrettable, is that it will start to seem more and more like a simulacrum of some kind of godlike omniscience, but it will always be smaller than the infinitude we can have, even in our most dark moments, if we engender the richness of I'm stealing from Mr. Emerson all the time, the infinitude of the private man is what he said was the doctrine that he was relentlessly preaching always. So I think so long as we can, to some degree,
The private man.
the private man.
Where is he gone?
Well, he
We
thinks.
cannot have privacy. This thing called what? Subchat and YouTube?
Yes.
I want you to all listen, because I'm only doing this with you because we really think that our ideas, be it an esoteric one about Beethoven or Counterpoint or Schubert, we're not talking about politics or changing the world. I'm not talking about inventing anything. I'm saying, hey, buy one of my paintings or my books or one of your novels, because it's a human infinitude that we were
Yes,
trying to
yeah.
do. I mean, something beautiful. That's all I want for you, for me. So if I act like a half of a madman at times, it's because I am. I don't want this world to dwindle into something that has no place for a young person to hear Beethoven, and this is happening,
Mm-hmm.
and it's happening fast.
Mm.
And don't use the name AI.
Mm.
Take your time and say artificial intelligence, and then make a diatribe and tell your children don't ever touch anything like that. We have to start taking some control.
True.
Technology is not going to give us anything. It's over. We've had enough of it. I don't want you to fly at all. I want you to travel.
Mm.
I want you to walk. I want you to climb a tree. And this is David Duvall telling you, please forgive me for the interruption. And Jack Coles
Mm-hmm.
is here with me, as he always is, and I hope always will be. And if this is called technology, I'm not a Luddite. I'm using it every day in one way or another, but usually on a good way, in my opinion. Because why? I have a good opinion of myself, and most people don't.
That is true.
Jack, great to see you.
Good to see you, David. Looking forward to what lies ahead.
Thank you.
Okay.